Okay, here's where I am right now. I'm kind of on the side of this hill here. And I'm in this like field, and there's nothing here. No cows or anything in this field. There's a dozer deck down there along the bottom that runs all the way along the bottom. And then up here, there's a pond right here. And then this is all thick brush and cedars. So the edge is right here around this point. This point kind of junts out here like a finger that sticks out. Then it goes around this pond and then starts the other side. So there's no, I couldn't find any sign here, but I know the coyotes are in here. They're running through here looking for rabbits and mice and such. So the edge is either going to be one or both. It's going to be down there along the bottom, along the dozer deck, or it's going to be right here on this point, which is right around this edge near this pond, with the edge that's up there and the edge that's right here in this field. And I haven't seen any tracks, but you know, you see how rocky it is. You're not going to see any tracks here. So what I did is I punched in a dirt hole right here, used this big piece of fescue as a backing. There's two pieces of fescue on both sides, so it's kind of a natural guiding thing. And this was kind of a little hump, so it was pretty easy to punch a dirt hole in there versus anywhere else out in here is all rock. I tried to make it as natural looking as possible. You can see I left all this dirt out in the front like something was digging, dug it all out, and then it's a deep dirt hole. It's like 10, 11 inches deep. Bait and lure down on the bottom, and a little bit of bobcat urine here, and that's what I got. Probably going to go down there along the bottom, along the dozer deck edge, see if I can find any tracks down there, and maybe punch in a set down there. That way I can catch them depending on what edge they're going to run. That dozer deck goes all the way down to the bottom, and it runs all the way up through there. So they're probably running that too. So we'll check it and see. Okay, I just put a dirt hole set here. Here's the set right now. It's got a hole right there with that fescue backing. Put a little scat on the side. There's the trap right in there. That's kind of what it looks like from a distance. Where I have it is, there's a 2-track right here that the side-by-side is sitting on. And then there's a little culvert here where the creek is running under. And there's a 2-track that goes that way. And there's a 2-track that runs up that way. And there's a 2-track that runs up that way. And the reason that I have the trap set over there is because it's really the only dry spot. You can see out in here it's just mud. You can see all that right there is where the water's been running. All that over there is where the water's been running. So if I put a trap anywhere up in here or over in here, you can see all the erosion here in the road. If I put up a trap anywhere up in here, you can see where the water's been running down through there. It's gonna get wet. It's gonna be covered in water or flooded if we get any more rain. And we're not supposed to have any more rain for like 3 days, 4 days, but then it looks like more rain. So I'm trying to keep it dry as much as possible and to keep it from flooding. So with the 4 tracks that are coming together right here, I'm gonna put it right here. It's the only dry spot I have in this little intersection. There's scat here on this intersection. There's a piece of scat right over there that I just picked up. And if you go up that 2-track up through the forest, I just put a flat set and another set up in there where the dozer deck is a little ways. So I mean, this is a good spot, this intersection here of these 4 2-tracks. With the scat here, there's sign. Pretty much everywhere I've put traps at today, there's been tracks and scat. It's amazing. I don't always have that, but it's amazing. And it makes you feel pretty good when you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna put a trap here, and you're in the process of putting one in, and then you look over and there's a pile of scat or whatever that you didn't see, even though you kind of look around for it. Here, I have a hard time finding it sometimes. So makes you feel a little bit better. I was putting a trap in here anyway just because I knew it was going to be such a good spot, but the fact that you find scat and sign here is even better. So hopefully this will be a good set. You can see as we back up here, it kind of sticks out right here on the corner. The creek's right here. You can see the creek's right here, and as they come across this little kind of bridge, the creek is right there. There's the creek and there's the bridge part. They come across this bridge, they're going to run right into the set, and the wind is going to go from there to here, so the wind is going to take the scent right across the road anyway, so it should be a good spot. Alright, so the snow just melted off today. Everything is kind of a muddy mess, and we're on a piece of property that's pretty close to our house that we can get to with a side-by-side. And this place, I've trapped it before, not had any traps in it at all this year, but the landowner's done quite a bit of work on this particular piece of property. There's no cows on it. He just uses all this land for mostly for hunting and things of that nature. So as you can see, looking out through here and looking out through here, this actually used to all be trees, and earlier this year he knocked the trees out of this. This right here where the sage grass is used to be just an itty bitty little food plot of a field, but as you can see, it's been cleared, and between this little field and that little field, there's really nothing growing in it right now. He did it late in the year and didn't get anything on it, or didn't grow, or whatever happened. But you can see there's a big dozer deck that runs down through that little drainage, and there's one spot right there where there's a little 2-track that goes through. And I went down there, put a set in. It's really muddy there, but I put a set in anyway. And there's cow tracks everywhere, and they're all from last night, because you can just tell they're all from last night. They're fresh in the mud. They're from earlier today. So we put in a set there, and then we came over here, and as you can see, the dozer deck kind of comes around, and then it's also right over there. And these are older dozer decks. And then there's a 2-track that runs right here where my side-by-side is on, and it runs right through here and goes down into this, which is pretty rough, pretty thick, and then it goes down into like 3 other 2-tracks that come together down there at the creek. This looks really catty in here. This looks like bobcat territory. In fact, I caught a couple bobcats in here a couple years ago. I'm not even sure if I trapped this piece of property last year, but I was looking down through here, and right here, you get out of the shadow, some scat, some coyote scat. So there's tons of tracks, there's scat here, there's everything else here. Good place to put some traps. So we got that one down there, and that little crossover where the 2 fields come together toward the bottom, in between the dozer deck. And that's really the only place that the coyotes can easily get through the dozer deck, because it covers that drainage all the way from the top down to the bottom. So that's obviously a place that they're using. And then obviously they're coming up through here, they're working around through the sage grass, and then they're going right down this 2-track. You can see from the scat here. So we're going to put another set right here. You can see the ground is going to be really, really rocky. Down there it was all shelf rock underneath there. Couldn't put in a dirt hole really. I ended up putting in a shallow one in a bank, and then just throwing a drag. And I'm gonna probably just throw a drag right here somewhere, probably make a flat set right here, so I don't have to even try to dig a dirt hole. Put it in right here along the 2-track, throw a drag up there around that little cedar tree base. Thena's, she's the one that originally pointed out the coyote scat to me. She's becoming a pretty good little trapping dog. Okay, here's the flat set that I put in. As you can see, it's right next to this 2-track in this corner. It's on this side of the 2-track because that's using the wind. And then all I got here is this little tuft of grass. I put a little hole over there, little punch hole over there, little punch hole in the tuft of grass. Put a gland lure and two basically food type lures on both sides. And then I put this piece of scat here that's from another area, which would be a completely different coyote, and I stuck it right on the edge, and that's all I did. And then I picked up the piece of scat that's here, and I'm going to use it somewhere else, and that's all I did. So we'll let this just work now, and hopefully we'll have a coyote here in the next day or so.